Shalom everyone. So today I wanted to go over with you what we do for baking and books / lunch and literature. We do not do poetry and tea time. This is more of a time that I kind of designated to do something a little bit different and out of the box. So I just wanted to first show you the books, and then I will go into explaining what we actually do. So first of all, we have here Schaumburg, the man who built a library, and this is about the life and times of Arturo Schaumburg. And this book, once again, comes highly recommended. I just thought that this was a really great book. Actually, this is another book that I will be ordering offline on Amazon. Really great content and really great person to do more of an in-depth study on, because of how he put together his fascinating connections of books pertaining to our culture, for the passion that he had to get different books and different know of history of our people, our culture, and the things that he had found. So I thought it was pretty interesting how he did that, and and I just thought his life history was very, very interesting. So this is a really, really great book, and I just thought I'd give you a quick walkthrough with pictures and everything. And this, once again, is Schaumburg, the man who built a library. So next up on my list is usually these books here, and these my itty bitty bio books are just enough information for what we do. So basically what I would have them do is, what I actually do is pick books from the library. Sometimes they pick their own biography books, but most of the time it's me picking them. And I figured that what I would do is have my children, instead of kind of sitting around and discussing a poem or what have you, I would have them read and get some basic knowledge on famous historical figures, and I would have them do a presentation. So they would present in front of their fellow students and myself and whoever else is here at the moment. And I would have them, they have the option to do a presentation using their Nook or using the computer as well for additional information, as well as going over the information that they learned in the books. So these books are just very basic books, but it has just enough information. I mean, if they want to learn more about the person, then they can do that on their own, but just so that they can have some type of knowledge of who these people are is my goal. And the focus is not necessarily to gain a whole bunch of knowledge on this person, unless like I said before, that is their choice. However, just enough information for them to know who is who, and that these people existed, what did they do, how did they become famous, etc. So for this month, they will be doing Frederick Douglass, Amelia Earhart, and Rosa Parks, although we've covered Rosa Parks already, but briefly, because we covered Claudette Colvin first. So now we are moving on to Rosa Parks, because she kind of picked up the torch where Claudette Colvin started. So I wanted them to know that first. So that's how I did that. We also pick up books like this as well. This one is on Dizzy Gillespie, and basically this is his life and times as well, just written kind of in a poetic verse. So here's another book. Here's another famous person that they will be presenting about, Dizzy Gillespie. And here are two more people that they will be presenting about this month as well, Toussaint Louverture and Matthew Henson. This, of course, is the man who gave Haiti their independence, and I wanted them to learn about him, how much of a hero he was and inspiration he is. So, well, he was, and I also wanted to learn about Matthew Henson. I don't know about him, so, you know, for them to present to me of people that you don't hear about all the time, to me that is very important. So that these are two more that they'll be presenting. And finally, this is one that my daughter is supposed to be presenting. She should have done this one already. This book is due to go back soon. And this one is on the Supreme Court Justice, Sonia Sotomayor. And, you know, just to give you a brief little look at the book. And that's about it. So that's basically what we do. So let me just quickly get into how we put together our baking and books / lunch and literature. Okay, so basically what I would do is have my daughter bake a cake with my son. I will not be in the process at all. So they would bake cakes. So these are the different types of cakes that they baked. Of course, this one is just about done. And this is just so that I can have them do different things, you know, be more independent in the kitchen. Okay, this is my reasoning for this. So she baked these muffins on her own. These were her first muffins. Needless to say, they didn't come out all that great. They were pretty tasty, but they didn't come out all that great. But it's okay. It's just to get them more independent in the kitchen, and to get them reading recipes, following recipes, and doing the, you know, and just opening them up to more independence in the kitchen. So with that said, here is the cake mix that we use. We don't use a regular cake mix. We use this one. I picked it up from Target, and it's delicious. It's called Miss Jones Baking Co. Bake with Love, and it's all on organic ingredients. And what we do is sometimes we will like put a very ripe banana in there, a couple of them in there, and have banana cake. So that's what she did for the first couple of times. And this is her and my son making it on their own, all on their own. That's why you see the spills and all of that. Here's Joshua mashing up the bananas over here. And this is what they do. This is solely on their own. The only thing I did, I think, was put the cake in the oven. That was it. And this is how it came out. So basically what I do is I would have them bake, and then we would get together either for lunch or maybe after lunch. And I would tell them, okay, now you would have to present your person. I would give each of them 2 books each, so they would have to present on 2 different people. Sometimes it's in the same day, sometimes it's just one person. Excuse me, one person for that day. We only do this once a week. It's usually on a Monday, and they would bake. And while we are baking, they will be presenting their person, and hence that would be our baking in books. Sometimes we are not baking and they are just making lunch or brunch. And see, like my daughter is right here, she was making eggs. That was her very first time on the stove, and she did it completely alone. Yeah, so I would have them baking and or cooking, and then they would present their person. They'd read their book, present their person, set up their station like by the computer. They would Google that person, pictures of that person. They would give us the different information about that person. So for example, their latest presentation, my son's presentation, was on Nat Love, and we learned about him. He also presented on Joe Louis. And my daughter presented on John Coltrane. We listened to his music as well. And with Joe Louis, we saw a few YouTube clips on some of his fights, and we discussed him a little bit. John Coltrane as well. Now this is the one that she was supposed to do. She didn't get around to doing yet, but she will be doing very soon. So basically this is how we do baking in books, and I have entered everything on Evernote. I'll do a separate video on this later on. This is what we are looking at right now. I put a lot of things on Evernote because I tend to take a lot of pictures and grab a couple of online resources, so I like to house everything in one area. And for me, Evernote has been great, and it helps me with keeping up with my planners when I am not writing in my planners, or when we are out and I don't have my planners with me. Evernote is always with me, so I'm able to take pictures and enter in information and have it up in our Evernote account immediately. So it all works out well. Anyway, I thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.